Hey there. Just wanted to do a quick update. I did all my pre-op stuff. My surgery's in less than a week, which is kind of scary. But I went today to do pre-op stuff. They just like took blood and asked me questions 5 times over. Um, Overall, had a good experience and feeling nervous, but also I don't know, kind of confident about it. I did notice, I can't remember, like, for those of you who don't already know me, if I talked about a bad experience I had after waking up from gallbladder surgery, where I don't think I've shared it on the YouTube channel yet, that there was a nurse who was aggressively misgendering me when I woke up. And every time I corrected her, it didn't make a difference. It was like talking to a wall, and she kept misgendering me. And it was either because she saw my naked body or because she saw the little tiny F on the insurance form, but either way, it was totally inappropriate and very hurtful. And I was already waking up in a like crap ton of pain, so and it just made all of the pain and anxiety much worse to have that happen. And then another nurse who I think was trying to help came over to me, meanwhile, like still in pain, still struggling, and she said, my son is transgender, and so when I heard that you were here, I went while you were under anesthesia and looked at your chest because my son is thinking of having top surgery and I wanted to see your results. And I think she was trying to help, but I felt like I was in an alternate universe. Like, in what world is it okay to do that / say it? It was mortifying and horrible. So I don't like to classify that as trauma. I don't have flashbacks or anything like that, but I did have real uptick in anxiety when it came to this surgery and thinking about the process of waking up from anesthesia again. And, am I going to have a repeat of that? Are people going to be disrespectful? And I had wanted to report that nurse, both of those nurses, but just didn't have what I needed to do that until, and even when I had Benzino, my son, I was in that same hospital and I wanted to speak to a patient advocate about what had happened, but nobody came down to talk to me. Anyway, long story short, when I was like, okay, I'm going through with the surgery, I was able to call the patient advocate, tell her what happened. She was, you know, righteously angry for me. And she said that once I have a surgery date, let her know, and she'll speak to the nurses and staff about me coming in. And it's interesting, so, I brought it up today again with the nurse practitioner that works with the bariatric surgeon, and she was appropriately, responsive to it and sympathetic about it, and said she hopes that I have a better experience this time. But I did experience feeling shitty about having to even bring it up. Like, the fact that anyone could look at me and misgender me to my face multiple times is just so hurtful. And, I guess, even though I'm not stealth, I'm pretty open about my experience of being trans, I still would like to be able to go through a surgery that has nothing to do with my gender or genitalia and not have to make a big deal out of my gender or genitalia. I want people, I spent all this time on testosterone and, I've done all this work, and people should be able to just see me and see me as male. And the fact that I had an experience where that didn't happen, and it was in a medical setting where I was in a lot of pain, was super hurtful. So I did bring it up with a nurse practitioner. She assured me that, that she would, she's not the one who's there in surgery, but that, that she hopes I have a better experience, that she experiences people there as being open. But yeah, still notice, just feeling crappy about it, feeling crappy to even have to bring it up. But anyway, my blood work was good. My blood pressure's good. Really, there should be no major complications. I did just talk to a friend who had the gastric sleeve done, which is not what I'm having. I'm having the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass. And she, unfortunately, has had some pretty difficult times with acid reflux and pain and throwing up and things like that, and just really not knowing. And also mental health stuff. And I don't think she knew that anesthesia itself can cause depression, so I just let her know, and I'll hopefully get a response from her soon. But I'm already aware that just going under anesthesia, when I had my upper GI endoscopy a few weeks ago, I had 2 days of depression after that. And it took me, and I knew that could happen, and I still was like, oh my God, what's happening? The world is terrible. Everything's bad. But luckily by the day 3, it like kind of lightened up a little bit. So I am expecting that a similar thing could happen after this surgery, and I'll be in hospital for 2 days. I don't know, it feels a little better to have that feeling in the hospital than at home around my kids. So at least at the hospital I can distract myself. There'll be nurses in and out. There'll be a lot of stuff. I think at home it might be a little harder. But could be wrong. But that's kind of my thought of it now. But yeah, looking forward to... I don't know. I want to say I'm looking forward to being on the other side of this, but I think the first couple weeks of being on the other side of this are gonna be really hard. So I'm nervous about it, but also trying to be hopeful. And I have a running list of all the things I'm excited to be able to do once the weight is off and once I'm fully healed and recovered. So that's kind of at the forefront of my mind of the things that are kind of motivating me to keep going, even when it feels really scary. So that's it for now, and hope you're all doing well. And I don't really do a lot of YouTube-y stuff, but I guess if you have questions or anything you would like me to answer, feel free to put them in the comments, and I will try to read them and answer them. Have a good one.